Have you ever noticed that right before something beautiful happens in your life, everything seems to fall apart? Doors close, people disappear. Silence replaces the divine signs you once felt so clearly. It feels as though the universe has forgotten you. But what if that silence isn't punishment? What if it's the final test before your blessing? There is a moment, known in ancient spiritual traditions as the divine hush, a sacred stillness when God withdraws all signs, not to abandon you, but to measure what you've truly become. Because before light is revealed, the soul must learn to walk through darkness without fear. Tonight, we will uncover the secret behind this silent test, the one that arrives right before the universe lifts you into your next level of destiny. Every sacred tradition speaks of a time when the seeker is left alone in the desert of silence. In the Hebrew scriptures, it is Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, imprisoned in darkness, just before he rises to power. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna stands paralyzed on the battlefield, unable to hear divine guidance clearly until he surrenders. In the life of the Buddha, there is the long, excruciating night beneath the Bodhi tree before enlightenment dawns. Each of these stories hides the same pattern. Before elevation comes separation. Before revelation comes silence. God's tests are rarely loud. They do not arrive with thunder or fire. They come quietly, through delay, through loss, through confusion. This silence is not absence. It is refinement. It is the moment when the divine steps back, not to punish you, but to see if your faith can stand without visible proof. Like a sculptor who removes the last pieces of stone to reveal the hidden statue, the universe strips away comfort to uncover the truth of who you are. The Sufi mystic Rumi once wrote, "When God tests you, it is because he wants you to taste the sweetness of faith that does not rely on answers." The silence, then, is sacred. It is the womb of transformation, where the soul's unseen strength is born. Why God tests through silence? To the ordinary eye, silence feels like neglect. To the awakened soul, silence is sacred surgery. You see, every soul carries layers, beliefs, fears, attachments that cloud divine perception. When life becomes quiet, when prayers seem unanswered, the noise of the world fades, and what remains is you, raw, unmasked, unshielded. This is the true purpose of divine silence, to confront you with your own vibration. In esoteric schools of initiation, this stage is known as the chamber of reflection. The student is placed alone, with only a mirror and a candle, to face his own inner shadows. Likewise, when God grows silent, he hands you the mirror of your own soul. Will you still believe when there is no sign? Will you still move when there is no voice? Will you still trust when there is only the echo of your own doubt? The silence is not a void, it is a measure of readiness. The divine cannot pour new light into a vessel that is restless, distracted, or full of fear. Silence empties that vessel. It breaks the dependency on external affirmation. The 13th century Christian mystic Meister Eckhart said, "God is not found in the noise of the world, but in the stillness that strips you of everything that is not real." The test, therefore, is not about surviving pain. It is about proving alignment. When your heart can remain still in uncertainty, you have passed the invisible exam that precedes every great blessing. The silence is a crucible, And what emerges from it is faith that no storm can shake. Signs you are in the silent test, and how to endure it when God tests you through silence. It rarely comes with a warning. One day, the path feels bright and clear. The next, everything you once relied on seems to fade into shadow. But there are signs, subtle, sacred indicators that you are in the in-between, that your soul has entered the quiet chamber before the blessing arrives. Sign 1, divine disconnection. The first sign is divine disconnection, the loss of spiritual sensations that once felt natural. The meditation that used to fill you with peace suddenly feels empty. The prayers that once flowed effortlessly now meet only silence. Don't mistake this for spiritual regression. It is spiritual maturity. God is teaching you to walk not by feeling, but by faith. Sign 2, the collapse of the familiar. Second, you may experience the collapse of the familiar. People leave. Opportunities vanish. The identity you once clung to begins to dissolve. It's as if the universe is dismantling your old world to prepare you for a new frequency. Remember, before the phoenix can rise, its old self must burn to ash. Sign 3, the mirror of shadows. Third, the silence brings the mirror of shadows, a phase where your hidden fears and wounds surface. You begin to see parts of yourself you avoided. Anger, doubt, grief, all rise to be healed. Do not run from them. These shadows are not enemies. They are the unhealed fragments of your light calling for reunion. And how do you endure this sacred quiet? Not by fighting it, but by resting within it. Sit with the silence. Observe your thoughts without chasing them. Write, pray, walk in nature. Allow yourself to be emptied, because only an empty cup can be filled anew. Trust that when nothing seems to move, God is rearranging everything beneath the surface. As the mystic Teresa of Avila said, God walks among the pots and pans. Even in the most ordinary stillness, the divine is at work. The key to surviving the silent test is surrender, because the moment you stop resisting the silence, it becomes your sanctuary, not your prison. The moment before the blessing. What happens when you pass the test? There is a mysterious stillness that comes right before divine movement. It's not peace from the world, it's peace beyond the world. You stop chasing signs. You stop demanding answers. You simply are. That is when the silence shifts. What once felt like emptiness begins to feel full, heavy with presence, alive with invisible power. You realize the test was never about the silence. It was about trust. When you pass the silent test, something within you aligns with heaven's rhythm. The noise of fear dissolves. The confusion of waiting transforms into clarity of purpose. You begin to notice synchronicities, people, ideas, opportunities that match your new vibration. It's as if the universe whispers, "Now you are ready." The ancient Egyptian initiates spoke of this as the dawn after the trial of darkness. The alchemists called it rubedo, the red stage where base metal turns to gold. And mystics across centuries have said the same. When you no longer need the blessing to believe, that is when the blessing appears. So, if you are in that quiet space now, where everything seems still and uncertain, take heart. The silence means the seed is about to break through the soil. The darkness means the dawn is near. Stay faithful, stay grounded, stay grateful, because the test is almost over, and what waits on the other side will make every moment of silence worth it. Every blessing carries a price, And that price is readiness. Before the universe elevates you, it ensures that your spirit can hold the weight of what's coming. That's why the silence comes first. It is not punishment. It is preparation. The silence teaches you to hear without sound, to see without sight, to move without confirmation. And when you can do that, you've entered a deeper covenant with the divine, a partnership of trust. So if you're watching this and you're in that silent phase where prayers echo back unanswered and life feels paused, here's what you can do. 1. Practice sacred stillness. Each day, sit in silence for a few minutes. Don't ask. Don't strive. Just listen. You'll begin to notice subtle shifts, a thought, a feeling, a sense of quiet guidance. That's the language of God. 2. Keep a faith journal. Write your doubts, your gratitude, your questions. You're not writing for answers. You're writing to witness your growth through the silence. Over time, you'll see that what once felt like emptiness was actually alignment forming beneath the surface. Serve quietly. When you can't hear God for yourself, serve someone else. The act of kindness becomes its own form of prayer, and it often reopens the channels of grace. Remember this truth. Silence is not the absence of God. It's the sound of your soul being rewritten to match your destiny. And when that rewriting is complete, when you've learned to trust in the quiet, the blessing will come. If these words resonated with your soul, if you felt even a flicker of light awaken within you, then don't let the message end here. Subscribe to this channel. Join a circle of seekers walking the same sacred path. Like this video if it spoke truth into your silence. Share it with someone who may be enduring their own hidden test. And in the comments below, write, "I am listening in the silence." Let that be your affirmation, your signal to the universe that you are ready for what comes next. Until we meet again, beloved soul, may your silence be sacred and your blessing be near.